Hello and welcome to Hrania YouTube channel. My name is Branislav Berec and you're watching another episode of the Game in a Nutshell series designed for explaining the board game rules. And in this video we're going to learn how to play Tea Garden Puerh expansion, again designed by Tomáš Holek, published by Albi. And without any further ado, let's get started. To set the game up, follow the standard setup rules. During that standard setup, first shuffle these two new region bonus tokens with all other region bonus tokens, and then randomly place them on the game board using the standard setup rules. Then shuffle the new caravan cards into their respective caravan decks, and likewise shuffle the new Emperor card into the Emperor deck. Then place the Noble Court board near the game board. Sort these Puerh tokens into two separate piles based on their type. These are basic Puerh tokens, these are premium ones. And draw 3 Puerh tokens from each pile and place them on these designated spaces on the Noble Court board. Place the piles of all the remaining basic and premium Puerh tokens somewhere next to the Noble Court board. Shuffle these whole tiles, create a pile face down and place it next to the board. And then in a 2-player game and a solo game, place 2 tiles face up on these spaces. And in a 3 and a 4-player game, place another one on this space as well. Then shuffle these Imperial decree tiles and randomly place 2 of them with this brown side up and 2 with the red side up. Return all the remaining tiles back to the box. Then each player takes the extension board and places it to the right of their standard player board. 4 courtier figures of their color, 2 of which are placed on the extension board and the remaining 2 on the designated space on the Noble Court board. Likewise, take the additional worker figures, place them in your supply, and that's the end of the additional setup. When playing with the expansion, follow those standard base game rules. There are no changes to those standard rules. The expansion only adds 2 additional actions, the Noble Court and the Puerh Market. In addition, players are also able to fulfill these decrees. Everything else remains the same, so let me cover those 2 additional actions and the Imperial decrees. Furthermore, the extension board allows the player to take 1 additional action during the round, and in order to take that action you have to pay the costs, again using the standard rules. So, in addition to those 5 main actions from the base game, there are 2 additional actions from the expansion, so now you can choose one of the 7 actions, and I will cover the Noble Court first, then the Puerh Market, and then the decrees. So let's start with the Noble Court action. When you take this action, take one of the courtier figures from the extension board and, based on the strength of your action, place it in one of these designated spaces under the whole tile of your choice. So let's say I'll place it here. The courtier can only be placed on the space with a strength equal or lower than the strength of your action. After that, immediately perform the actions shown on the whole tile, and you can take these actions and bonuses in any order. You can have more than 1 courtier under the same whole tile, however placing another one obviously requires another action. At the start of the game you only have 2 courtier figures available. You can unlock additional 2 courtiers by fulfilling the decrees. I'll talk about that later in the video. At the end of each round during the maintenance phase, each hall will be scored. The player with the highest total strength gains 5 victory points. The player with the second highest strength gains 2 victory points. So in this example, red player gains 5 victory points, green player gains 2 victory points. In case of a tie, here we have green player with a strength of 6 and yellow player also has the total strength of 6. The player whose courtier is on the space with the highest strength wins the tie. So here the green player gains 5 victory points and yellow player gains 2 victory points. After that, return all courtiers to the respective players' extension boards. remove all the whole tiles from the game and replace them with the new tiles from the deck. Again, you only place this tile in a game with 3 or 4 players. If you're not sure about certain specific hole tiles, you can consult the rulebook, which contains the explanation of some of these specific tiles. Then the second new action is the Puerh market. There are two types of Puerh tokens. These are basic ones, these are premium tokens. You can get the basic tokens through various effects in the game, for example, when resolving the caravan cards, or from one of those new region bonus tokens, or for example from one of the halls, which means you don't spend a main action to obtain these basic Puerh tokens. You have to spend a main action to obtain these premium tokens. Now, based on the strength of your action, you can buy 1, 2, or 3 of these Puerh tokens, premium tokens. And in addition, you also have to pay the cost of each token indicated in this red area. So if, for example, the strength of your action is 3, you can buy up to 2 of these premium tokens. Let's say we want to buy these 2. We also have to pay 3 green leaves and 2 fermented ones. Now, after you purchase the premium token or after you gain the basic token, you have two options. Either place the token as the new token in your play area and gain the bonus from this brown area. Here you can ferment one of the leaves, let's say this one. Or you can connect the token to another token which you have placed previously. For example, like this. When you place the premium token, after you have paid the cost in this red area, the cost is no longer relevant, so place the token with this brown side up. And now, after you connect the Puerh token to previously placed token or tokens, gain these bonuses from all tokens here. So in this situation, we can gain 1 new green leaf into the basket with number 2, and then we can ferment one of the green leaves. Now, when you buy or gain more than 1 Puerh token during the same turn, you are not allowed to connect these tokens together. So this one would have to be placed as the start of the new cake. After you gain or purchase Puerh tokens, immediately refill the empty space with the new token from the corresponding draw pile. That applies to both basic and premium tokens. Then at the end of the game, all completed Puerh cakes will be scored. For each completed Puerh cake, multiply these point values, here we have 1 plus 3, that's 4, by the number of stars in the cake, here we have 2, so 4 times 2, that's 8 victory points for this cake. This one is not completed, so it doesn't score any victory points. And finally, let's take a look at these Imperial decrees. Whenever you meet a condition on any of these decrees, you can take one of the workers from your supply and place it on any available space on that corresponding decree. This one says that you have to have at least 1 completed Puerh cake. The numbers on these spaces indicate the victory points you score at the end of the game. When you fulfill an Imperial decree, you also unlock one of your courtiers. So you can place it on your extension board, and you can fulfill any number of these decrees. However, you can unlock maximum 2 courtier figures. And the decrees with these red borders are more difficult to fulfill, but they offer higher rewards, higher number of victory points at the end of the game. The decrees with the brown border are easier. However, they only provide fewer number of victory points. And once there are 2 figures on a decree, if any other player fulfills that decree, they may still place the worker on the decree tile, but they will not score any victory points. However, fulfilling a decree may be important for unlocking your courtier. Again, if you have any questions or doubts about the icons on those decree tiles, consult the rulebook. It contains the description of all these decree tiles. So that's it. That's how you play Tea Garden Puerh expansion. Again, designed by Tomáš Holek, published by Albi. You've been watching the video tutorial presented by Branislav Berec, and hope to see you on the next one.